Hello, Kurt here. I've been blogging about my electronics project for a while on kavianic.com, just writing and taking pictures, and figured it might be fun to make a video this time. My current project is solid-state Tesla coil. So I made the primary and secondary coil, and I've been making this inverter power stage, which has some issues. So I've actually designed a new one, and it's gonna build with another version of that soon. And to control this inverter, I've used this breadboarded prototype of a control computer based on an ATX Mega 256 A3 Atmel microcontroller. So I made this breakout board for this microcontroller, and the rest of the circuitry is just a mess of wires on various breadboards. So, but now I think the prototyping is pretty much over. I've figured most things out and actually laid out the proper board for it. In all my previous projects I've been just etching them myself, applying the solder mask, and it's working fine. But it's a bit of work to actually etch them, especially the drilling. I really hate the drilling. So I figured this time I would try to just send it off to some fab to have it made. The biggest reason for not doing it before is that shipping has been killing me over here in Norway. So, but I figured that now the prices are really reasonable. I can get these boards fairly cheap. So instead of doing the etching myself, I just packed up the Gerbers and sent them off to China. And 2 weeks later, this came back. Actually, a bunch of them. This is one of... I was supposed to get 10, but I actually got 11 back. And they look beautiful. The main difference from the one I made myself is that now I could use smaller vias, because that was one of the big limitations. I needed the vias to be like 1.5 millimeters, so I could drill a 0.5 millimeter hole in it without risk breaking out the annular ring. So of course I think this is 0.9, so makes it easier to lay it out. And it has a silk screen. I've never bothered putting a silk screen on the homemade boards. I always put the solder mask on though, because it makes it a lot easier to populate it, solder it. So, but yeah, see if I can get a close-up of this. It looks pretty nice. So, but I opted out of getting a stencil, solder paste stencil for this. Sorry. Because I've always just dispensed the solder myself using a dispenser machine, which works fine. I think this board has a bit more components than I'm used to. The X Mega is a 3.3 volt maximum part, and I have one of those LCD 20x4 character displays hooked to this, and that is 5 volt. And to be able to convert between the 3.3 and 5 bidirectionally, I have a whole bunch of components here to do the conversion. So, and other than that, there is not that much going on. There's a few voltage regulators, and of course a lot of decoupling. For some reason this board ended up with 97 components, so it will be some amount of dots to put out with that dispenser machine, but I think it should be fine. So to do that I use this thing. My workshop is tiny, so everything is packed away until I actually need it. So I'm gonna set up this dispenser machine and hook it to my compressor, hook some power to it, and then I'll start dispensing. So this is the one I use. They're fairly cheap to buy, bought them on eBay, and it have a timer so you can set a preset time so it will dispense the same amount every time you push it. Hook it up. I have this. It comes with a paddle. I've never used it. The cable is too long, and I find this one very convenient. It's made for a much bigger string. I'm not sure if you saw that. Might have been outside the picture actually, but here it is. This is the activation button, and it's made for a huge string, and I'm not using that for the solder paste. But it still works okay. I'll just hold it like that and put the finger against it and push it to dispense. Works okay. Of course I'm gonna make a smaller one. I already made a tube. I just need to hook a switch to it and it should fit properly, because yeah, this isn't perfect, but it works. So now I'm gonna hook all this up, and then I'll be back when I actually start putting on some solder paste. Okay, then I hooked up the dispenser machine, set up the syringe with a 0.4mm needle. So then I'm gonna start dispensing. I did some calibration before, and the timer is now set to 0.2 seconds, which is about right for the 0603 parts. So for the bigger ones, if they're slightly bigger, I'm just gonna dispense several times, and then maybe for the really large pads I'm gonna increase the timer and towards the end. So, and yeah, this is going to be long and tedious, so I'm probably just gonna time lapse it. I'll see how long it takes. So then I'll start putting on the dots. Do seeps out a little bit when it's idling, so there we go. So that compressor is not annoying at all. There we got maybe a bit much. It's kind of flowing together. They usually snap back onto the pads when reflowing, but not sure about this one. Maybe I'll just wipe that up and try to reduce the amount a little bit. But I'm just gonna do the rest for now. So now comes this 64-pin chip. I think I'm gonna actually just set the time to something huge, so that it just basically runs continuously, and then I'm gonna drag it over. It's a bit annoying, there is no solder mask between the pads because they're too tight. So it is easy to get bridges here, but they're also fairly easy to fix during reflow. But let's just give it a go. Okay, that was a fail. That's way too much. Let me see, I have to try to wipe this off. Let's try to get some cotton pins. This would be an enormous amount of bridging. Maybe I should try to get the thinner needle for this. So yeah, then we try again. I'm actually gonna find a smaller needle to get a bit finer control over this one. The previous one was 0.41. Yeah, let's try 0.26 and see if it at all managed to squeeze any paste through that one. So take this guy out. Just leave it there. Oh, stay here. Oh, it's dripping. Yeah, that's not good. Just gonna wipe this off and see how well this actually dispense. Let's go. Nothing. It might be too tight. I'm not sure if it will at all be able to push through this tiny needle. No, this isn't working. Not at all. And let's go to the one in between those two. Yeah, so it's not dripping too much. So the next is 0.34. Gonna give that one a try. Let's see. Nothing. And of course I put my hand on the board. It was... Oh, this looks fine. Yeah, so now I have a bit of touch-up to do again, because I messed up by putting my hand over it. Stupid. But let's try to drag a nice string over these QFP pins, pads. Fail again. It's not so bad. Let's try again. Yeah, well, this isn't working very well. Not happy about this. This is very flowy. Can't remember it being like this before. Okay, well. Gonna give that a try. Then I'm gonna touch up the mess I made here. Just put back the timer to something sensible. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, lots of messy solder paste all over here. Of course I'm using leaded paste, so I guess I'll have some washing duty to do afterwards, but that should be fine. Okay, what am I missing now? I think most of the pads are fine, except the ones for this Wi-Fi module. They're a bit big, so I think I'm gonna actually just set the timer up again so I can just fill them manually. So, oh, there's one I missed. Put back the timer. And where did it go? There you go. Oh, it's dripping enough that I don't even have to push it for the first one. There we go. Did I miss any more? Oh yeah, there's one over here. And what else? There has to be more. There's always more. Oh yeah, there we go. So, is that all? I think that's it. I'll keep the dispenser handy, just in case I, during the pick and place, figured out that, oh shit, missed something. I didn't put any of this because the particular Wi-Fi module I'm using doesn't have any connection for that, but there is the ESP12 with a built-in antenna has connections for this. The ESP7 doesn't have it, and that's the one I'm gonna use with an external antenna connector. So yeah, I guess that was it for solder paste. So I'm gonna now put down the dispenser and prepare for the pick and place. Then I'll come back.